Samantha from Jessima Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a faux enamel effect with polymer clay. Now I have shown this before, but today we're going to be doing a couple different steps. One of those is going to be to create a Lisa Pavelka peel using gold metal leaf, which is what I have here. I am also using white Prima polymer clay rolled out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply the gold leaf to the top of it, and then you can use the little booklet that it came in to just smooth that down onto the clay because you want it to be on there firmly. Okay. Then lift that up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring over a piece of paper so that it doesn't stick to my tile when I'm working with it. And I'm using a glazed ceramic tile. You could also use a glass tile if you wanted, but I'm just going to take a roller and I'm going to roll in both directions. This is both going to make sure that it is completely flattened onto the clay, and it also will create some slight crackles. Then I will release that from the paper, and then I'm going to bring over my texture stamp of choice, and I'm going to be using this nice deep leafy texture stamp. Any texture stamp will work. This one is available on my Etsy store, Jessima Design. There will be a link in the description below if you're interested. Then I'm going to place that with the metal leaf facing down onto the texture, and then I like to create a buffer between me and the clay so that the clay doesn't stick to my fingers, or the roller if you choose to use that, when I press that into the texture. And now you do need to be fairly firm, and I would recommend using your fingers unless you can get it all in one pass with your roller, because the metal leaf acts as a anti-stick, and the silicone stamps already don't really stick to the clay, so they're already kind of anti-stick, and so it's very easy for the clay to lift up out of the texture. So you want to just be aware of that when you are texturing. You want to make sure that if you're using a roller, you're not going back and forth, back and forth. You want to be getting in one smooth go, which is why I like to use my fingers, because then I can go back over it without moving the clay around. Okay, and that should do. I'll just lift that up, and if I can, I'm going to also lift that up off the tile so that I can see how the imprint went. You should be able to see whether everything has been imprinted, if it is a clear stamp, and everything looks like it's good. You are going to need to clean the stamp after this, because you can see the metal leaf does like to attach to it. You just go lift that out, and you can see how clean of an impression that gives. Just clean that in a sink of water with a toothbrush and it'll be good as new. Alright, and that should just about do. Take that and trim away the extra pieces of clay. And I'm most likely going to use those for the backing, so I've just got them to the side where I can use them. Okay, and then also, before moving on to the next step, just use your blade to clear away any extra leaf that's just kind of hanging around, because you don't want that on your piece. Okay, then the next step is optional, so feel free to skip it if you want. But I'm going to grab a piece of packing tape. I'm going to lay that over the top and very carefully only have it touch the raised parts of the pattern, because I just want that metal leaf picked up, just so that it shows off the vine pattern a little more. So just go in and tap around to get a clean effect. And it doesn't matter if you do pick up a little bit in the indented areas, you just want it mostly off the top part of the texture. Alright, and that should just about do. Okay, now you're going to cut out your pieces, and I think I'm actually just going to work with this. The back's already quite nice. just gently with the flat of your palm press it onto the surface of your tile, that way it won't stick in the cutter. And then grab your cutter. I'm going to use this donut cutter and choose a section that you like, and then cut straight down and lift up. And it did stick in the cutter a little, so then just lift it out of the cutter like so. It shouldn't stick that much. There we go. And then you can just pop the middle out as well. I'm going to try to get this one to stick a little more. Okay, and if it did stick in your cutter, what you can do is you can go around the edge with a baby wipe, and this will add a little bit of water residue around the edge, which will create a more of a stick-proof surface. And hopefully that does prevent it from sticking. No, it's still stuck. That's fine. And then you just lift it out the cutter. Okay, remove that. And then before I pop that down, just remove the extra clay. Okay, and pop that piece out as well, because I am going to use those as well. There we go, so we've got those two and these. Right, you're going to take these and you're going to just pop them to the side. We're going to work with those in a moment. For now we want to colour our liquid clay. Okay, and I'm going to be using translucent liquid clay. And it's very important that it is translucent. I'm using Kato today, but you can use Sculpey as well. And I'm going to pop down 4 puddles of liquid clay, like so. And I'm just going to separate this one out a little more, because I don't really want them touching if I can help that. There we go. Right, and then you're going to have a selection of alcohol inks. I've chosen these colours, and you're going to take them, I'll show you the other colours in a moment, and you're just going to drop 1 drop of ink on. 1 drop should be enough. This one is bottle green. Okay, and if they mix a little bit, it's not a big problem. This one is honeycomb. And the last one is ginger. And that's the colours that I'm going with. Feel free to go with any colours you want. Alright, and then once you've dropped those down, then you can use anything you want to just mix that up, so that you mix the liquid clay into the translucent, or you mix the alcohol ink into the translucent. And I'm not worried about it being a completely solid colour either, so I just roughly mix that in. And you could even do this project without the liquid clay. It wouldn't look quite so much like enamel. It is the liquid clay that creates the kind of enameled glass look. But you would get quite a nice effect by just dropping the alcohol inks on as well. So if you don't have the liquid clay, feel free to just work with the alcohol inks. Okay, and then once you've mixed them through, and there's a little bit of cross-contamination between the colours, but that's perfectly fine. If you don't want that, then just separate the puddles out a little more. But there we go. Okay, then I'm going to work with these each individually on a piece of paper, and I'm going to take the ink and I'm going to do my best to colour only the indented areas of the pattern. And my general thought process is that I will have the green along the bottom and then work my way into the yellows at the top. Also keep in mind that because we're working with translucent clay and alcohol inks are inherently semi-transparent, you will be able to see the metal leaf through the alcohol inks when you're done with this. So the colour of your metal leaf does matter. I've used gold because I want everything to have a slightly gold tint. It will give the colours a warm hue, but if you want the colours to be more true, then go with silver metal leaf. But you can go with any colour you want. Also, if you do happen to get the coloured liquid clay parts onto the raised areas, don't worry about that, that's perfectly fine. It's not something to worry about. You want to try to avoid it, but it's not a make or break if that happens. And you're just going to continue doing that for the entire pendant, or earring in this case. I will do the same with this one, and then I'll probably do the same with these two. I'm not 100% on that yet. Okay, and that's how they should look once you've applied all of the liquid clay. Okay, and then this is going to go into the oven for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature. The Kato liquid clay bakes perfectly fine at that temperature. As for these little pieces, I'm going to leave those behind. I'm not going to use those. I'm just going to make these two. But yeah, you're going to bake that at a cold oven for an hour. If you've got a preheated oven, you're good to bake them for about 40 minutes. And the liquid clay will clear up, the metal leaf will become more apparent, and the whole design will just clear up quite a bit once it's been baked. Okay, and here they are out of the oven, and you can see that has made a big difference. It's given it a almost resin like shine, and you can see the gold leaf through the colours. Now these are kind of autumn themed earrings, but if you wanted to do more spring or summer themed ones, you could replace the orange and the rust colour with pink or purples. That would look quite nice as well. I can imagine it looking kind of like cherry blossoms going into the green. So feel free to change up the colours, and also change up the textures as well. You can change the theme just by changing up the textures and the general shape of the piece too. Now, what I've got here is a gloss varnish. It is Varathane polyurethane water-based gloss varnish, and it is not necessary in that you don't need to seal the piece, because the liquid clay has essentially sealed in the metal leaf and the alcohol inks, but the varnish will bring a slightly higher shine than the liquid clay would, and that is something that I want. And also there isn't liquid clay on the top parts of the pattern, so some of the metal leaf may need to be sealed in, and those areas don't have the liquid clay, so they're not going to have a shiny finish either. So I am just going to apply just one coat of varnish to the top of the piece. I'm not going to worry about the back, I'm not going to worry about the backs or the sides. Those can actually stay nice and matte. And then once this is done, this should take about 15 minutes to dry, and then we can assemble them. Okay, and here is how that should look, and hopefully you can see that it's quite a bit shinier. There we go. And so now I'm going to assemble them, and the way I want to assemble them is actually using a piece of chain. This is the one that I've got, and make sure that you cut out 2 lengths of chain, both equal sizes. I do that before actually starting to assemble the piece because it's just easier. That way you can make sure that the chain that you use on both earrings is equal. Then I've got a gold jump ring here, and I'm just going to link that onto one end of the chain. Pop the chain through the donut hole, and then I'm going to make sure that this is a flat chain. I want to make sure that I am going to keep it flat and not have twists, and link it up because I want it to lie correctly on the piece. So just make sure that there's no twists, and then grab your ear wire and link that on and close up. Simple as that. And depending on how much length you want the chain, you can either make it longer or shorter. In this case I've made it relatively long so that it's quite a nice dangly chain with a lot of movement, but that is up to you how much you want chain. There we go, here's the other one, and yeah, that is pretty much it for today's tutorial. Nice and simple, but I would say quite eye-catching results. Keep in mind that you can change up the texture, the colour of the metal leaf and the alcohol inks, and even the shape of the piece, and you can make it into just about anything that you want. But yeah, if you enjoyed the tutorial, please do let me know in the comments below. If you have questions, leave them there as well, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. I also do take tutorial requests, so if you have anything in particular, suggest it below and it will probably get made into a tutorial quite soon. And if you'd like to support the channel so I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There is a join button just below this video, or there is a link to my Patreon account in the description. That also is a great way to support the channel and is greatly appreciated. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the tutorial. I do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.